Manchin. You know, we've covered Manchin, and basically it's kind of been like a, all right, this isn't breaking news kind of situation, but it's starting to get pretty egregious even for me. Colin, if you could play the clip, Manchin yesterday on CNN.
Build Back Better. Is it dead? Is there any opportunity for it to come back with your support?
The Build Back Better, as it has been presented over the last 7, 8, 9 months, that bill no longer will exist, okay? Should there be parts of it? Do you want to talk about different things? I think the president said there might be certain parts and this and that. My biggest concern and my biggest opposition, it did not go through the process. Whether Lisa votes for it or not, being a Republican, she should have at least the opportunity to have input. It should have gone through the committee.
Mr. Manchin's biggest issue is it didn't go through the proper committee. It didn't get, the proper stamp, all this shit. So while Joe Manchin says his biggest problem with Build Back Better wasn't, children that he's going to make hungry again by doing away with the child tax credit, wasn't seniors in West Virginia that are going to continue to go on with no teeth or decaying teeth. I could go on and on. His biggest problem was the committee, but interestingly enough, Steve, this is from CNBC, former Joe Manchin aides lobbied his office, Congress, on Build Back Better during the lead up to Senator rejecting the bill. Shocking. Former aides to Senator Joe Manchin lobbied his office and others in Congress on behalf of several corporate giants in the run-up to his announcement that he wouldn't support Biden's $1.75 trillion climate and social spending. The former Manchin aides lobbied on behalf of companies like Unilever, T-Mobile, Best Buy, Kinder Morgan, Perpetua Resources, and Givo. Multiple ex-Manchin aides have picked up several lucrative clients. You don't say. They've previously lobbied for industries such as coal, pharmaceuticals, oil and gas, tobacco, and finance. Manchin himself has seen an uptick in contributions. So his big shtick was it didn't go through the proper committees. Meanwhile, all his former top aides are cashing in as lobbyists and going back to Say It Ain't Joe to influence him. I don't know how much. I think he was already there to bury any programs for working class people, or more importantly, bury tax increases or anything like that. But it gets better. So now you have billionaire Republican donors are now giving to Manchin and Sinema. This is from Forbes. So as Manchin and Sinema stood in the way of President Joe Biden's agenda last year, they attracted the support of a small but very rich cohort, billionaires who gave money to Donald Trump's previous campaigns. In 2021, Manchin and Sinema received campaign contributions from at least 13 billionaires who previously donated to Trump. According to an analysis of federal election commissions, among the donors, Continental Resource Chairman Harold Hamm, investor Ken Langone, and Apollo Private Equity CEO Mark Rowan. At least 10 gave to Manchin, while at least 6 gave to Sinema. Some of the billionaires gave to both. Such support is new. Between 2017 and 2020, only 3 billionaires gave to both Trump and Manchin. 1 gave to Sinema. Bernie, actually, at least we get a tweet. That's about all we're getting these days in terms of a fight from Bernie or the elected progressives. Bernie tweeted, "This is what a corrupt political system looks like. This is why billionaires get richer. This is what oligarchy is all about." So, Steve, I just lined it up in a row for you. Joe Manchin says, my main thing was this isn't really, it didn't go through committees. My friend Lisa Murkowski wasn't consulted enough, blah, 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 blah. Then we see, all his top aides are lobbying him from all these corporations. All these Republican billionaires are stuffing his plate with Benjamins. So all of this, let's see what Ro Khanna had to say about this.
What is your view of where the focus should be of Democrats in this midterm year? You've sort of had interesting takes on Senator Manchin, for example, where you said, I understand what he's dealing with. He's running in West Virginia, in a state that voted for Donald Trump overwhelmingly. Some of your progressive colleagues have suggested he be primaried. What do you think that your party should be looking at on the hopes of holding on to a House? You've had retirements. It doesn't look good at this moment from the outside.
Well, I'm still cautiously hopeful, but we ought to respect Senator Manchin. We ought to understand where he's coming from. We ought to give him the deference of coming up with what he wants. And he's going to propose climate investments. He's going to say, let's have preschool for every 3-year-old and 4-year-old. He's going to be for Medicaid expansion. Let's pass that. That will be historic. It'll show we can get something done. I think we ought to get it to the president's desk. So I have a lot of respect for him, and I think we can come to a compromise.
Steve, I give you the floor.
I'm going to tell you the two faces of Ro Khanna. The first face was the one that I met years ago, and I thought, gosh, this man is stately. He could be a president someday. And then I listened to that garbage right there. He understands that what Manchin is throwing up there is a bold-faced lie. He knows he's on the take. He knows this. These people will not fight publicly. They will not fight. I can't say what they do under the sheets and behind closed doors, but publicly, they will not fight. And Ro Khanna, I couldn't be more disappointed. There was a period of time where I thought Ro Khanna really could possibly be that bridge between the old and the new and really give us a fighting chance. But he is just a tired shoe. He's a worn out shoe that has literally bought into the entire duopoly aspect of being a vote blue no matter who, and he is going to support Manchin no matter what. And this is just a very disappointing, part of his evolution into becoming part of the Democratic machine. In early stages, I really had so much hope for him. That right there tells me not much to put hope in, not much at all. Very disappointing.
And you want to know something? Manchin, because he doesn't get any opposition, not any real opposition.
None.
He knows, this is all a game. Of course they're going to support me. Colin, if you have this clip, Jake Tupperware asked him, are you worried? Because Bernie has said you should be primaried. And Chuck E. Cheese, Schumer, hasn't come out supporting you yet. Let's see Manchin's answer.
Now you're under fire. It's not the same thing, obviously, but you're under fire for not supporting changing the filibuster rules so as to pass the election reform bills. Bernie Sanders has said he supports a primary challenge to you and to Senator Sinema. Schumer has not said that he is endorsing you.
We've talked about that and everything. And I told Chuck, and I were talking the other day, and I said, Chuck, basically the best thing to say that I would think in a situation like that, but they're going to support. I don't know, no way, shape, or form will Mitch McConnell or Chuck Schumer not support their caucus. Right. It just doesn't happen. Now, with that being said, I'd have said, sometimes you tell me, Jake, I want to be for you. I can be for you or against you. What helps you the most?
Yeah.
And Chuck, it might be in Chuck's situation. He'll say, Joe, I can be for you against you. What would help the most? With that, you put a little levity to that, but I don't put any stock in that. I've had a primary. I've been running since 1982. Yeah. I have never run unopposed.
I'll be there for you, Joe.
You're going to endorse him?
Endorse me?
If he's running, I'm endorsing him.
See, there we go.
I'll be there for you, Joe. I'll be there for you.
I'll be there.
I know. Bottom line, Steve, this is not breaking news, but I think it's important to continue showing you this is what corruption is. This is the sickness of this septic fucking country we live in, where this guy, he's taken seriously. The media pretends he's centrist, he's moderate, this and that. He's got his top aides lobbying him from these corporations as he's just suddenly having moral objections against the child tax credit, against expanding Medicare. You got billionaires flooding his coffers. It's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. And this has been normalized. And this is the country we live. Your last thoughts?
Well, him saying, what's going to help you more, me to oppose you or to be with you? That right there in and of itself, that's high theater right there. That should tell you all you need to do. I've been saying this for a long time, Jordan. I've been telling you this is political theater at its finest. That right there shows us that it's political theater. But I wonder if a guy like Manchin ran for president. He has got all the power in the world from West Virginia, which just is absurd to me. But can you imagine? What are Republicans going to do? Try and beat him up for being a socialist? No, that won't happen. Maybe they would go there. Maybe they actually would go there. But I listened to that, and I can tell you right now, in the back of my head, in the front of my head, out of my mouth, this is political theater, and you just saw it unopposed right there on that show. They're just Absolutely. I mean, I can't even, it's so hard to take it seriously. It defies logic to take this stuff seriously. And you try to get a really stern face. Well, actually, these people are friggin' clowning us. They are absolutely clowning us. And that right there is proof positive. It's the clown show.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in to Status Coup's daily live stream Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time and Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern Time.